my extremely scuffed shots fired marathon run. A little bit weird doing this pre-recorded, but I'd say it's better than getting up at 4 in the morning to do this run. Hello there, I am Onel, and this is my game Crimson Sea. 2002 action anime turned into a game, third-person shooter. It is quite wacky, but I think it's just... we'll just get right into this. We shall begin the game in 3, 2, 1, and go. So, basic premise of this game is that we are the private detective show in the Theopolis system. We have just been given a mysterious job by some mysterious people to go investigate these muton attacks that are happening. So we get given our first task to go underground and find this item. Now, first thing that's noted, we play on G-Squad mode because not only is it easier, we take less damage to everything, but we also start off with this weapon, the Volcano, which makes these first few levels extremely easy to complete, because we do just so much damage. I didn't dash that properly. Have to get another cycle, I think. Boss. That was the first boss. Nice and quick. The game involves lots of dash movement to try and get around the enemy as fast as you can. And the objective for that first level was that we just needed to get to the end and defeat the boss. This level, however, is different. First of all, we have our new teammate, so we've just been press-ganged into joining the IAG, sort of a peacekeeping organisation. And our buddy Yanquin, our partner from the private detective agency, has joined along with us. And the objective in this level is to defeat all enemy mutons in the level. This is also very handy for having the Volcano with us because it's basically a rocket launcher. It has high damage and high area splash damage, which means we can take out the enemies a lot faster than our normal starting pistol. So there we get our first... we're being assigned to G-Squad mode, and we have just made contact with our first member of it. Well, G-Squad. There. And that was our first buddy from G-Squad, Kekak. She's now joined us. Now, I'm making very, very precise amounts of damage to these enemies as I proceed, as I do not want to get my combo meters, indicated by the hits number on the bottom, above 20, because I do not want to get a perfect rank on this level. A very important mechanic, which is very difficult to control sometimes. In this level, the easiest thing to control, to not get a perfect with, is your combo. So I need to make sure I don't just rapid fire all the time. Apparently we've passed the areas where it's most likely for me to accidentally get a big combo. Because these guys aren't all clumped up like the other enemies were. Which means that has some rest time between my combo hits and resetting. Yeah, we pick up a quick mod, which is a generator weapon mod. As weapons in this game have three, and you can fully customize your weapon between the barrel, the generator, and the effector. The barrel is basically what weapon you hold in your hands at the moment, so I'm holding the Volcano barrel, which is the rocket launcher. Your starting weapon is the Viper, which is just a little small pistol. Generator is indicated by the blue bar underneath my green health in the bottom left, and it indicates the energy that I've got for weapon. Better generators give us better recharge rates, better energy capacity. And if we use our gun too much, it'll burn out and overheat, and we have to wait for a bit to recharge, which cuts down the amount of time we can use firing the gun. And the effector is basically like a damage amp, which changes how much damage the gun deals in either gun or melee mode, or how much energy I save. So after clearing out this area and linking up with Boron, our third member, go up to the boss. However, those two decide to chicken out for a bit and leave us to deal with the boss. But since we've got this gun, it's not too hard. Just gotta make sure. Yep, now it's a quick kill. So if you don't do that rapidly enough, he can become invincible for a bit, or the gun could overheat. So we cleared out the area, and then we move on to the Lipton plant, which is the first real big level in the game. Mostly because it's sort of an auto-scroller of sorts. You're basically just thrown into a level with tons and tons and tons of enemies, and you're told, get busy, kill them all. And I also forgot to equip the generator. So here we get a new gun, the Falcon, which is a machine gun. Perfect for taking out lots of light enemies, which is what this level has nothing of. Here is the first level where we have to really focus on our energy for our gun to properly clear in good time. As we keep using it, the gun is always a better attack mode than the melee, just as a start, but we also want to keep our uptime on killing enemies as quickly as possible all the time, just to clear out levels like this as fast as we can. Which means, once our energy is about to hit zero, we want to use Blade Form to not only keep damaging enemies, but also give our energy time to recharge. Also, where that generator that we picked up earlier is useful because it gives us just slightly better regeneration than our starting generator, which lets it fully recharge in one single combo of melee attacks. We don't really care about secondary abilities of weapon modifications. Like the generator that I just got, it gives us a better jump at melee attack. We don't care about that, we just really care about its stats. And it gives us just a nice amount of energy recharge to fully recharge the generator energy for our gun. And this is just a really long stage. We've got lots of enemies that keep constantly respawning. Eventually they'll stop, and then the generator will just peel back a layer and spawn more enemies. This is probably supposed to be like a tech demo kind of level, which shows off ooh, look how many enemies we can fit on screen all at once. Isn't it so impressive? Ways and ways and ways of enemies. Just makes this level really long. We're going to be here for a little while, which gives me time to also talk about the perfect ranks. At the end of every level, we'll be ranked on our performance. It includes how much damage we've taken over the level, how many enemies we've killed, our highest rank combo of enemies that we've killed, and a special objective for each level, which is unique to how many it is. Could be anything from how quickly we defeated the boss, or most commonly is how many team members we've still got alive at the left end of the mission. Or it could be something related to the level's special objective. If the higher you rank on those, the more bonus money you get at the end. However, if you manage to get an S rank on every single one of those statistics, you get given a bonus item. Now, this is part of the run for one level in particular. However, what the game calculates as our perfect rank is a little bit, no, not a little bit, it's very weird. And I've spent quite a long time trying to figure it out. Basically, it looks at your save file and determines how many times have you already got an S rank. Then it also decides, okay, so how far are you into the game? Like, what level are you on? Because depending on what section of enemy levels that you're on, it will decide to give you a different set of rewards. Like, the first chunk of levels gives you the early game rewards, then it gives you the mid-game rewards, then and so on. So, and those two play off of each other. It will go to the sequence of how many you've gotten first, before going to what section of the game that you're on afterwards. That's why we don't want to get a perfect early, because we don't want the reward early, because it'll it'll move forward the sequence of perfect rewards later. And there's something that we want in a few later levels that's very, very important for the run. Fortunately, the game has another problem with it. It deals with how it looks at the save file. Now, since it's a bit of an old game, it has a bit of a weird quirk, is that every time we start a new game, it goes into... Well, every time you beat the game, it goes into EX mode for that difficulty, which kind of is a pseudo-New Game Plus. And it carries over the money that you have stored from the previous completions of this game. However, it kind of gives like a pseudo-save file for that. And if you happen to max out the money counter, it will kind of forget to reset itself and think you've actually done a new game run. So if you manage to get a perfect bonus in some of those, it'll forget to reset that counter and you'll never get the one you want. I've had to actually manually soft mod the Xbox so I can erase the config files to get to fully reset that counter. So only recently have I been able to actually properly run this game and have it be valid. I have to thank Miku_DS for helping me do that. He is a legend. But I'll show you what it is in a bit once we get that. We're finally done with Lip Implant. Fortunately, the damage we take there helps us not get the perfect bonus in this level. So after those first introduction levels, we finally get to hang around in our main base, the IAG headquarters. And we can freely select from what mission that we want to do afterwards. So we're going to quickly do some shopping. We're going to buy some new weapon items, the Quick Charge Generator and the High Blaster Effector. We'll equip them for better damage, better power save, and generator for better energy capacity. We don't care about their effects, we don't care because we'll hardly ever make use of them, we just want their stats. And now we're going to go over to the other door over here, which leads to Tabla Siku's Archaeomusicology Lab. And this is where the game kind of gets into more anime depth. This guy is a researcher who likes to research sound waves. They're the key to everything in the universe. And he tells us we're actually a Viper, a guy who can manipulate these sound waves into special moves called Neopsionics. And they're the key to helping us defeat all the muton infestation across the Theopolis system once and for all. So now we've got the new Neopsionic ability in the bottom left here. We also got introduced to a new party member, Shami, which is like Temple Seeker's apprentice who can absorb these sound waves for us, because we need to research them. Now we also get put in to probably... this is a really annoying stage. The Una-controlled area is an escort mission. We have to escort the president of this area through this muton-infested area. It's sort of alright. He'll move by himself a lot of the time, But we have to just keep pushing him every now and then. Make sure he actually keeps moving. We basically want him to move all the time and not stop. So if an enemy touches him or gets close, he'll cower down a bit. If someone hits them, you'll get a really long hit stun animation before you keep moving again. And that's also really annoying because this level is just full to the brim of global cycles. All these crushes move on a global cycle. There's one other global cycle later on that we need to catch. That will waste a lot of time if we are late to it. Especially this room is bad because all the enemies will not stop spawning. We've got to keep pushing him. And, damn it. Because then we get stuck like this, so all the enemies keep hitting us. Finally got through the room. This upcoming area is really weird too. He'll decide, it's a maze, and he'll decide to take different routes depending on how close or how far away we are for him. He took the fast route because we've decided to stay away from him. I honestly can't decide sometimes what determines what route he is going to take through here, this area. It's confusing. I'm just gonna stick relatively close and hope that he'll go in. Nope, he did not decide to do it. But he didn't decide to go around and take another useless loot for no reason. Now, the question is, did we get... Well, that's a reasonable global cycle. This platform here is the fast area. He goes into like a manual push area, where he's manually manipulated it in any area. We want to get him onto this moving platform because it's the fastest way to get through this room. We miss him, we have to manually push him across the lower area, and it's slow. This platform here... Get on into this. And it's the fastest way across this room. So that was good. Decent global cycle there. Okay, now he's in locked movement again, so we're just going to go ahead and clear the area out in front of him. Now we get into this room. Big slope staircase. Now we have to manually push him up this entire staircase, which is really annoying and it's very slow. And enemies also spawn in, so we're just going to rush ahead, trigger the enemy spawns, and kill them before we get to them. He should be at the bottom by now. Yep, it says he's at the bottom. Now we've got to be careful here. Dashing into him like this is the fastest way to get him up the slope, but it's also really risky because depending on what's in front of you, including your own teammates, you can accidentally push both either the president or yourself off the edge. Either will waste a lot of time, especially if it's the president that's off the edge, because you have to go down there and manually push him all the way back up. And it wastes just so much more time. Especially since it's not accurate, you can kind of slip off of him while dashing, and that can make him go in a weird direction. Last enemy spawns. The camera controls in this game are weird. You rotate the camera by kind of pushing the left stick left and right. Right stick just kind of temporarily pushes it to the side, pans it for snapping back. I'm just gonna grab this free Midixie here for marathon safety. We finally cleared this level. Elixir is an item that will fully heal you if you happen to die. It's very useful, but it's usually not used. I'm just going to grab it for marathon safety. Alright, now, next level in this chunk of levels is 10 Spaceport. Now this is a very, very important stage because it's the one level where we want to get a very first perfect bonus on. It is a very easy level. All you do is that Yanquin is going to repair this ship, and this gate over there will always try to send enemies at him to stop it. So follow the gate in Yanquin and you'll always be where the enemies are. Now, as a reminder, to get a perfect rank, we need to get lots of enemy kills. We need to get a big enemy kill combo, which is what this attack is going to let us get. We need to not take any damage. We also have to have the level special objective. Oh yeah, there's also the time bonus. That's the one I was forgetting. Got to complete the level really quick as well. And we also got to take basically no damage while doing it. And this level's special objective is damage that's done to the shuttle, which is really, really easy to avoid any damage being done. You just always stand at the side where Yanquin is, and you'll always be where the enemies spawn. They won't spawn anywhere else. However, there is a little bit of RNG that does make this a little weird sometimes. There are 5 spots on the shuttle where Yanquin can run around to, and he chooses completely randomly which one he wants to go to every now and then. And depending on which one he decides to go to, he can either spend a really long time or a really short time fixing the shuttle, which means there could be less time for enemy attacks even though the level is completed quicker. We want this attack, where the gate sends all these little exploding flies at us, to be done several times, because not only is it the attack which gives us a good combo, it's also where we get the most enemy kills. If he doesn't do this attack that often, it's possible that we might not get the kills rank that we need for a perfect for this stage. Spawn in just long enough to spawn a wave of enemies in this end, even though that's not quite enemies. Because that actually has happened to me before. I haven't got enough kills because the enemy didn't give me good attack pattern. We've gained this attack at least 3 times, so I think that's not going to be an issue. Nothing really much to say about this level. I'm just gonna wait just a little bit while longer until the level is complete. You can tell when the enemy is about to do one of these big attacks because the screen will turn dark. If the health bar appears, that means he's getting ready to charge up a bigger laser. If not, that means he's going to send a swarm of flies at us. There we go, that's the level complete, and S. Perfect. We get the Leviathan 3, that's exactly the prize that we want. Now, weapons in this game come in 3 ranks, 1, 2, and 3. You're not supposed to get a level 3 weapon this early in the game, where only level 1 weapons are needed. So getting a level 3 weapon this early in the game is very much game breaking. It is basically a Disc 1 nuke. And the Leviathan gun is basically like Mega Man's Mega Buster. You don't shoot just normal shots, but you charge up one big shot. So, getting a level 3 weapon where you can charge up a big powerful shot is extremely powerful this early in the game and will wreck bosses very quickly. Now, this level, the Argentato military plant, is a level where you are literally on an auto-scroller. You are on a conveyor belt through a factory, and the objective in this level is to collect 130 waveform instants. It's rather easy since most of them are just in a line, but it is easy because we are using strafe mode. You hold down the left trigger and the camera will lock into its current position. Won't change if we move left or right, which is very important to go across the conveyor belt. Oh, we got smushed. Oh, we didn't die, so that's an important part. Yeah, strafe mode keeps the camera locked in the position that we're on. Which means we can easily keep moving forward without having the camera jump us around. Alright, so we've got enough waveform pieces, we only need 130 of them, so we can just ignore everything else and dash towards the end. There's these enemies here that will block up the door, just shoot them. Continue moving forward. And this is the place where we will put the Leviathan 3 to use. Show just how powerful it is against this boss. Charge up a big shot, and we hit one of its tentacles. There we go. Just a few hits and the boss is dead in a single instant. That's how powerful that gun is. Now, what's most important, and while I was describing the perfect requirements earlier, and how it keeps getting confused, is that since this gun is such a big part of the route, it's important that we got it now and not have the perfect counter be incremented by 1 by accident. Because how I had a big problem a while back with running this game is that it kept giving me the second reward instead of the first, which is a near psionic power which isn't used in this run. And I'd rather have this powerful weapon than a power that we don't use. And no matter what I did, it wouldn't give me the first reward. So, clearing out this game's config finally let me get this gun, put it back in the route. We also get a few more perfect rewards later on. Those, since they're in a different bracket, we're still able to get. But lacking this weapon really messes up how fast you can clear out some of the bosses on later stages. This level, these little jellyfish thing enemies have captured the fragments of the waveform of this area and try to absorb them. So we have to run through this maze of a mine, finding and taking out all those jellyfish guys before they absorb the waveform. Now, the objective of this level states you only need 16 pieces of the waveform to clear the level. However, once you get 16 pieces, the level doesn't end. It will continue running down until that timer, there, which is 15 minutes, runs out. So, if we want to complete this stage quickly, we need to find and kill all 26 of the waveform carriers before the time runs out to end the level early. That's where memorizing this stage is really, really needed. Try to navigate through this area in the most optimal way possible, because even though the jellyfish guys move around, they have rather set areas where they linger. So by following the same path, collecting these stone keys to open up doors later, you will commonly get all of them. I do like to shuffle around a bit, so you do need to keep your eye out for them. Sometimes I'll try to trick you. See, we've got 16 pieces, what we need to clear the level, and yet the level isn't ending. We do have all 3 of the keys now, so we can just get out of here and go to a different area. Unfortunately, is a little bit of backtracking, which is slow. There's nothing I can really do about that. Careful in this part here. We don't want to fall down, fall off the edge there and go fall to the lower area, because it'll take us a long time to get back up. There's only so many times where we want to do that. He's not in range. So, let's go through those areas. We head back up to the surface here. There's always a few that like to hang out on the top here. There's also a blue door here, what we should use the blue stone for. There's always like 3 of these guys in this area off to the side. There's a generator bonus item off in that corner, but we don't use that because it's not that useful. There you are, you snuck around me. And we have to go now into the side entrance to the mine here. To get the few guys here. Fall down to this area one last time, so we can finally loop back around. Go to where the yellow door is. These little bug guys always keep constantly respawning, so you only really need to hit them if they're in your way. And it's here. The last few waveform carriers are. 26. There we go. 8:31. That's a decent average time, I'd say. That's one of the longest stages in this game, simply because of how confusing the puzzle and the maze is. Now here we get to the second set of stages, where new items have become available in the shops. We're going to do some shopping. There's also the stages where we get new Neo Psionics. We haven't used them yet, but now we're going to get some really good ones. We're going to pick up the Vulcan 2, stage 2 of the machine gun. We're going to pick up the Dual Matrix Generator. I'm going to equip both of those right away. Now, I'm going to show off a little bit of a route change that I made recently. So normally I've just been going through whatever stages first and moving on, but this time I'm going to go to the bottom one, Central Sunjack first. Because there's a hidden bonus item here in this level that I want to get first because it is very, very useful. Here, the objective is we've got to find several invisible exploding enemies that are hidden around this stage and defeat them all. But we also want to get this item, the Tri-Amp Effector, and it makes our gun very, very, very powerful. Its special effects states that it enhances the effects of the barrel, as well as being one of the most powerful boosts to gun damage an effector can have. Basically, it makes your gun super powerful. Not only is that really, really, really useful, and just in general, it will also super speed up one of the levels in this segment of stages we've got. Now, for this level, I have a very specific set route I use to get through this area, because some of the invisible dudes, they like to move around, while some of them like to stay still. So it can be tricky trying to get them all, because the moving radar dots can make navigation and detection of these guys real difficult. These golems especially, since they will pop up out of the ground. When they're like in pieces on the ground, they won't be detected on the radar, but once you get close to them, they jump out, they will. There's also these little bug guys here. You can split them into lots of different and multiple enemies and leave lots of different pings on your radar. It makes tracking the guys difficult. Finding all the invisible guys in this level and making a good route for this has been really difficult. I hand drew a map of this level to try make a real optimal route for this. It's fun. Right, we'll go up the side here. There's one guy right at the end of this alley. I think... yeah. Right there. Oh, I failed the special objective. I didn't want an S rank on this stage anyway. The special objective of this level is to not shoot your weapons next to the civilians, because you'll freak them out. Because technically they don't know there's a bunch of invisible enemies around the place that are threatening to explode the town. You don't want to hit anyone. You don't want to do that to anyone if you want to get the perfect rank, but we don't need it for this level, because the rewards for it hasn't really updated yet. Now it was right here. Yep, that's one. Oh, they get. I thought I saw one of yous. The guys that move around, they kind of have a little dust footprint trail as they do. So that was the guys leaving the radar mark. Just want to be thorough, even with the route that I made. It's still possible that I can always miss one. 3, I might be missing one. I did miss one, that should have been the last. I know where it is. It's always going to be in that corner. I always miss one in this corner. Yeah, I thought as much. Where are you? There you are. It's always you that I miss. Yep, there's the hide and seek level all done. Don't care about the perfect rank. But with that, I've gotten 2 very important things. Cure and the Psionic Power, which is basically a healing spell. Very, very powerful and very quick. It's the best and quickest healing in the game, saving a lot of time. I'm gonna rank both it and Blast Sphere up to level 3. And now we're gonna go back to the top of this list. Magadalanda Bridge. Now this is basically 3 big fight sections, one after the other. And it's the main reason why I want to go to Central Sunjack first to get Triad, because it's going to make chewing through all these enemies a lot easier. Because even though I've got a level 2 weapon now, and these are still smaller enemies, these guys have much more health than usual since we're getting to later stages. It takes longer to chew through them, but with the Triad I get through them a lot quicker. It only took just a short time. Right, now these guys, I don't want to get hit by the little fireballs by the big dudes, because those are the attacks that actually give me stagger. Stagger means I'm not firing my gun. I'm going to use Blast Sphere to just get the most hits while my gun is recharging. Going through that segment, and on to the final one. A bit of fighting we need to get through. Almost there. Now we get to the boss. Quark Tyrant. I'm going to swap back to the Leviathan for this boss. He's gone. And that's that level done. No, we even got a perfect rank. I got Meteor Crash. That's the second perfect rank bonus. I don't really need that at all. And completing that level, we get the much more useful and actually the best Near Psionic in this game, Protection. I'm going to immediately rank that up to level 3. Because level 3 Protection grants us 15 seconds of invulnerability once we use it, and that is very broken in some stages. Now go to Kyoku Ethereal City, but we find the other archimusicologist who has ultimate sound, but he doesn't want to give us the waveform, so we're going to have to chase him down to try and convince him. Actually, another IAG agent. Yeah, forgot to be explaining the law. Shanghai, leader of A Squad. He's a bit of a jock jerk. He's also after this guy for some other reason. So he's going to be a bully and he wants to get to him first. So it's kind of like a bit of a race. But... oh, yeah. Whenever we see fire down the bottom, we kind of want to jump to avoid one of his squad mates shooting at us, otherwise we get stunned or knocked over. Ah, let's get hit by that guy. Garamon always moves to the same location in set order, so where to go. So remember the locations in this area. It's easy to get from point to point. I always get confused around this point. You don't see which way he goes, but I think, if memory serves, he goes straight upwards. Yeah. And he goes over this way. He goes over there. Goes over there. And we go towards the end. And we get to the boss, the Thorn Chain. Basically a gigantic row of insects. It's the perfect time to use Blast Sphere. Every time you shoot the Thorn Chain, it just explodes into lots of miniature people, which is really useful for the Vulcan and AoE blast, like the Blast Sphere. Behind me. Ah, shoot. Missed it. Go. Easy boss. And that's the third section done. Now we find out that after we collect all these Near Psionics, there's one archimusicologist that IAG didn't tell us about who's hiding here in Desiree Valley. So our whole team assembles now. Oh yeah, last party member now is a woman called Diaz, who joins us now. Who joins us just because she feels like it. That's literally the reason. It's like, leader of some mercenary company or president someplace, and he's just so gung-ho and wants to do shit. They're just like, yeah, you going over here? Alright, that sounds like fun. I'll join you. So here, it's supposed to be another, like, gauntlet stage where you got all these enemies you're fighting through. But we don't need to actually fight through any of them. Even though they look like they're blocking the way, you can just sneak around the edge, sneak through them, and just dash all the way to the end of the stage. Ah, damn it, that was close. There we go. So here we want to equip the Leviathan 3 and Protection 3 Neo Psionic.
So, Jembe.
We get to face this enemy. Pop Protection. Then we just start unloading into this boss. Protection for this boss will help protect us from all the enemies that it keeps spawning. Because if they keep whacking us, we'll lose lock-on on the boss and we won't be able to take it out. It's really hard to get a lock-on after you've lost it. This protection just helps us maintain focus. So that other musicologist gives us one, but he also gives us a new Neo Psionic, Death Ray. He also gives us a warning saying it's like, because you're a Viper, you're about to die. It's like, it's what happens to all Vipers. Then Tapala Seeker, the first guy that we met, he goes missing. So on our quest to find him, we're led here to Commodore Ruins, where a bunch of... Oh, already he's in a group. A bunch of, it's a year, I think. Yes. A bunch of mutons have disguised themselves as humans. Because of this, big war hero that we saw earlier, Ekdal, he's decided to just kill the entire camp in a big kick the dog moment because he's actually a villain. Who would have guessed? I think it might be here. No? It's here. Yeah, and to avoid doing the same as Ekdal, we're going to use our radars to try and find and locate the mutants who are hidden and disguise themselves as humans. Basically, at this stage, I'm looking directly at the radar, trying to play a game of hot and cold, find out where the secret enemy is. Very closely at the radar ring. So if it overlaps with the red dot, that's me. It's basically the one right next to me. So I'm pushing these guys out of the way and seeing if the detection ring goes down or doesn't go down. Because if it does, then it's not the guy because I'm moving further away from him. See, it's not him. If it does go down, if it doesn't go down, then it's the guy. I think it might be here. Yes, it is. Pushing on towards another guy. I don't want to hit the wrong people. If I do, they'll turn into a really, really strong enemy that's annoying to get rid of. So I want to make sure I only hit the right people. Oh, this is annoying when there's several of them at once. It's one of these two. No, it's not you, so it must be you. But if there's several of them at once, it's hard to tell them apart because you've got several lines overlapping. this group. It's that one. The lions went away. There's one emerged as I was backing off from him. Indicates there was two at once. Okay, there's only two left. And it's not in there. That's usually his place where they spawned. He must have wandered out. Ah, there we are. There's the last two. Both right next to each other. Yeah, that's one of them. Let's push them over. Last one is over here. Not you. I think it might have been here. Yes, it is. Ah, shoot, I just realized I've forgotten to get a weapon. So I'm supposed to have picked up the Volcano too at this point. Because it's around this time in the game where the Leviathan actually starts falling off in terms of damage output, because it has, even though it has really good damage, it has a very, very low damage rate of fire. At this point, the damage that the Volcano 2 would do would outpace it because of its sheer rate of fire. This is much slower than usual. Ah, I took out my ally, but alright, boss is dead. So after clearing all that up, we're heading off to Pier Lento. That's where we tracked Templar Seeker down to, trying to find out what he's doing by just running off like that. We're gonna shoot by Volcano 2. We're also going to get a near matrix generator. Also, while I'm at it, I'm just gonna swap over Cure, because up next is the Kalalander Tunnel, and the boss of that area is one of the least favorite bosses in the game. This is one of the few enemies in this game which is able to pierce through the protection near Psionic. So it's better to have the healing spell prepped so you can keep your allies alive and yourself alive. There's another mission of just ignoring all the enemies and running straight to the end. This level's gimmick is that the tunnel walls are brittle, so you don't want to accidentally shoot them and break it. If you shoot too much, you'll destroy the tunnel. Well, that doesn't matter if you never shoot. So you don't have to. All you need to do is just get to the end. Try. Sneak your way through all the enemies that are around here. Spotting the other ones that can stagger you. Here we have these guys. We saw the one before in the arena controlled area. Those are Viper enemies. They have guns, and that makes them really annoying. Because not only can they hit you from a range and are annoyingly accurate, but their attacks do hit stun. Makes it really, really difficult to get around them without being just tapped all the time. We're nearly at the end. Gonna grab this large medikit. I'll slap my one on me just before we go into this boss. This is the Aqua Mercury Queen. And it's really annoying because it's one of the bosses that deals the most amount of damage to you can. It has like several different things, attacks that it can do. It can do that liquid wave attack. If it hits you during that, it will deal damage, but it's invulnerable doing so. Second is this attack, this tentacle grabbing attack. If it grabs you, which is very good at doing, it will deal a fuck ton of damage to you. And it's also the attack that breaks protection. The only way you can do that is basically just dashing away out of its range. Yep, oh, that was actually a really good fight. Managed to kill it real quick. Now we've gone into Pier Lento. It's a huge Muton attack that's happening. We're going to fight our way through a large number of enemies. This first stage, we just need to kill all the enemies in this level. Separated into 3 areas, which is the inner, middle, and outer areas. Go through the middle first. This big wing. This is where doing a little shimmying back and forth with the dashes is probably the most important. Get the best angle to hit enemies with, also to avoid their fire. It's tricky, but if you get it right, you're really good at clearing these levels out. Also where the volcano really shines. So I'm going to make sure to keep an eye out for enemy respawns. Sometimes enemies will come back after an area where you've defeated them, and if you don't clean that up, you end up having to repeat yourself, having to backtrack and waste a lot of time. So now we're going to the center area. There's all these guys here. The level is basically nothing but gun dudes and big golems. Yeah, the Crystal Knights. They like to do a lot of stagger. And every attack they have will knock you over. with them gone, yeah, we can take on the outer ring. Just keep knocking me over. Okay, he's down. Okay, so we clear out those areas. Just keep going along the ring on the outside. We've got 2 med-elixirs on us in case we die, so taking damage isn't really an issue. I'm going to pop protection for this area, though. Take out the rest of them. Not being hit stunned several million times. And that should be the level, yep. That's Pier Lento 1. However, we then immediately get put into Pier Lento 2. This one's a little bit more straightforward. It's kind of presents itself like a maze, but everything is actually in a big straight line. With separated 2 halves, basically it's this same objective as the first Pier Lento, it's that we just got to defeat all enemies in the level. All in set locations, so just following the path forward and making sure that you take all the little side paths as well. It's easy to get them all. You also get the tier 3 gun guys in this level, enemies, the commandos. Gotta make sure we avoid their attacks and target them most of all. That's that half done. Go into the middle here. We ignore that guy there because he will trigger a cutscene if we talk to him. Move on to the second half of the level. Moving around the edges here. You also get these little scrap golem guys. Well, my gun is now powerful enough to just mow them down. area. That's that area done. We get to the boss. Especially these three Darth Maul looking dudes. There's a lot of other enemies behind them, but we only need, for the boss, we only need to take out these three enemies. So popping protection here really helps out, so we can focus purely on these dudes. They're already dead. Oh, and I got a perfect as well. That nets perfect here nets me one of the key items I want, the Giga Blaster. I'm gonna slap that on right now. It's the best effector in the game, maxing out all stats. Like, we have the most gun power and the best power saving. Now this level, the Walrus Observatory. We found Tabula Seeker, but he's really not in the mood to be questioned about why he's run away, so we gotta tail him. Now he'll run through this observatory, leaving money as a trail and also mines. Careful not to pick up the mines. Don't want to get the explosives. The thing about this though is that Tabula Seeker is completely and utterly random where he goes. It's basically just 2 minute-ish timer until he finally decides to head towards an exit. Whereas during that time he'll just completely and randomly just take a random route through this gigantic maze. You'll speed up, slow down. He even sometimes decides to turn around the spot like that, so he can zap you. If he spots you, and you stay in his line of sight long enough, he'll zap you like that, cause you to drop a lot of money and take quite a bit of damage. I don't want to get too close to him, because otherwise he'll zap you. Well, see, like that, he decides to just turn around on the spot for no reason. We're just doing a loop. Not really much to say about this level. If he does spot you, you can get behind cover quick enough. You can avoid being zapped. But... oh, see, look at that. He's just doubled back around. Went forward, then he decided to turn on the spot. It's annoying. Just been running around this one room for a while now. I like this level. I like it a lot. He did it. He fucking did it again. Oh my god, this is the most amount of times I've seen him do this. Oh, he's finally going for the exit. Okay, but lore-wise, he's finally reached the end where a super special ultra sound wave called the Lyre is hidden. Tableau Seeker picks that up, but then he's swiftly intercepted by Ekdol, kills him and takes the Lyre for himself, because Ekdol is also a V-Pop. And he plans to use the sound wave, the Lyre, to go and release an ultra sound wave that will kill everyone in the galaxy that isn't a V-Pop. He's also manipulating the... He's also manipulating the mutants on top of that, as if that wasn't enough trouble already. So, a lot of stuff just happened with that reveal. Tableau Seeker's dead, and the IAG is way too swamped with all the muton attacks to go after Ekdol. So we decide we're going rogue. All G Squad decides to help us out and go and follow us to try and take down Ekdol. Fortunately, though, the vessel that we take to go on our own had mutons put on it. So, we've got to take them out quick before they decide to scuttle the ship. The area is pretty simple. It's basically set into 3 different areas: upper, middle, and lower floors. Oh, yep, right there. And it's easy to keep a handle on all of them, but it's also annoying because these little ghost enemy dudes, they can travel between floors freely whenever they wish. They feel like it, they can just wander out on the upwards and go to a higher floor. Shit, where'd they go? Which is what I think they've done. We have to use these stairs to get up and down floors. Up here. Must be on the upper floor. Yep. And that should be the last one. Yep. Yes. Ah, took too much damage. I was hoping to get another perfect rank there, because it's a good spot to do it on. And I would have gotten the ultimate generator while I was there. That's unfortunate. Okay, here we finally get our new base, where we can pick up the last things we'll need. Vulcan and Volcano 3. Also get the Magic Core, which is the best non-ultimate core in the game. Here we go to the explosion in Calcando, which is a mission where we have to protect a big weapon from the mutons. It's basically another big enemies wave mission. It's slightly different because there's 2 sets of enemies that keep spawning in. On the edge there'll be like little alien dudes who keep going in purely to harass us. But around each one of these 4 towers is what we have to protect with these robot enemies. They're the ones that we want to kill and focus on. Because once we kill enough of their waves, that's when the boss will spawn in. So these robot dudes are on set spawns. We want to focus purely on them to keep those spawns coming in as commonly as possible. turret is going to keep parked right in front of one of these towers, so we can avoid provoking something on the internet side of this arena as long as we can. Gotta focus on destroying those robots as soon as they appear. A little bit rough now with all these enemies piling up behind us, trying to keep us away from these robots as best they can. Making us ignore the main objective. There we go, that's enough of the robot dudes, so spawns in this boss which seems to have come over from Shin Megami Tensei. Swap over to the volcano for this one, because it is the best damage dealer of our arsenal. Fortunately, these guys are just going to fly over to the edge here. We're going to set all those petals on us, which will detonate on one of the towers, but we're just going to ignore that. We just want it to come closer. And it flew away again. Basically, we're just going to wait until it comes back in. As soon as it does, we can start unloading on it again. Almost got it. Thing's got like damage waves, so if we deal enough damage, she'll bugger off for a moment before going out to the edge of the arena. Even then, when it'll come back in to shoot energy blasts at us, it will just retreat if it gets too much damage taken. Got taken out there. That was actually pretty decently quick. Next mission is the Barber Express, where a train's been hijacked by mutons carrying a very volatile explosive. So we have to get to the head of the train and stop it before it reaches the end and detonates its payload. We're going to just kind of force our way through the edge of all the enemies here. Now we're just going to jump our way through all of these ones. There are tons of these iron golems in this level, but it's really easy just to get around them. The tricky part is making sure you don't get close enough to them, they'll punch you. Here we get to the boss, which will immediately pop protection and just start unloading. Boom. The enemy's dead. Just in time for protect to finish. just dash to the end of the train and hit the brake. Now, after our antics of stopping all of his Muton attacks, Ekdol challenges us directly and tells us, "Come and join us, because we're both Vapors," but we're a hero, so we decide to ignore him. Now we get to a really bad boss fight. There is one move in particular that I do not want Ekdol to use, and that is his clone attack. If he uses that, it's going to be very painful. It's like he wants to be a little shifty boy today. He's moving around a lot. Oh no. Oh, it's just behind us. Oh, damn it, I think we've taken too much damage for S rank. Might not be getting... Oh, we used the clone attack. Oh, this is that really bad phase 1 fight. Damn it, I was just about to get to phase 2 as well. Ah, that's really bad, because in phase 2, now that we're out here, he won't use that clone attack. It's actually become extremely easy to defeat. What I was saving my tech for. It's really, he won't move around either, because he's got no big arena to do so. Oh, that was a poor leak of gardens. Yeah, damn it, just out of S rank range, so looks like it's going to be a slower endgame because I don't have the ultimate core for my weapon, which sucks. Alright, so now in all that, before we fight, Ekdol also revealed his endgame plan of going to Crimson and using the lyre to trigger a soundwave to kill everyone. With that information at hand, we finally managed to convince the IAG to help us out, so they've sent a battalion of their agents here to Crimson to try and clear the path for us to get to Ekdol. Fortunately, there's a gigantic amount of mutons in the way. This area has got there isn't like 3 sections for Crimson Plains. There's 2 fight areas, and there's then a mini boss rush. You have to basically keep killing enemies until that bar at the top is exhausted, which will then open a barrier for us to get to the next area in the game. That area's spawns are finished, so we move on to the next area. Not really much to say about this. It's basically just a gauntlet. Kill as many enemies as you can. Just want to make sure we stay close to the barrier here, so the second that it goes down, we can hop through. Almost there. We move on to part 2. And we're gonna swap our weapon to the Vulcan. Because instead of the bull enemies, we've got all these little ant dudes. In addition to that, we've also got the other mini Viper guys with guns. Honestly, for this, we want to try and focus on killing as many of the little ant dudes as possible, because the little bar at the top will go down based on the amount of enemies we kill, not based on their health. So if we kill more enemies quicker, we will open the barrier quicker. Might need to use some healing for my allies getting too more damaged. I might just do that. Oh, for Shani too. Almost done. Here more. Area's gone. I'll swap back to the volcano. And we get to the boss rush area. There we go. Boss is defeated. Makes that door open up. get face to face with this boss. Pop protection one more time. Dead, we can move on. That is the Crimson Plains. Sorry, I thought I had turned that off. Now we're nearing the end of the game. Just got the Viper research facility and the basement left to complete. Basically, this level here is a lore area. There's lots of places where you can explore, find hidden notes, find out what really happened to Sho and Ekdal and all the people, the staff. But to get through this fast, we just drop Yenquin off there at a computer, go around the corner here to actually turn the computer on. Get close enough to the switch. Go around, pick him back up. Says he's got a key for us. We take that key over here and we go to the basement of the facility. And here we find the chambers where the mutons are being created. We've got to blow them up. Keep spawning from these chambers if we keep going, so we've got to focus on them first. Yeah, we're going to have to briefly swap back to the Vulcans, so we've got enough range on our weapon to cross the gap. We need to take out this little muton generator here. Fortunately, if we stood here, normally all those enemies would give us way too much stagger every time they shoot their weapons. So we're going to use protection to make sure that we can actually get enough firepower into it without it taking half an hour for all the stagger that we get. Put protection one more time. Go back to the volcano. And that is the Viper Research Center. Finally, we get down to the basement to confront Ekdal one final time. Basically the exact same fight as before. Run into a good position where you can't hit us. I'm going to use protection here so I could just tank through all of his attacks. Can't use a lock on him because he will always just immediately break the lock on, so we just got to use soft lock. Pretty well. check one more time. Now he's using his own powers. Now it's the last phase of the fight. Keeps moving around. Oh, we used... Oh, but I got the correct one. So that clone attack is really painful in this fight specifically, because in the previous League of Gardens fight, they'll just all move around. No, they'll stay still. All of them deal full damage, there's no way to tell them apart until you hit the right one. But in this fight, they'll move around, making them very difficult to hit. But here, now, we'll get to the last fight. We destroy the Liar, but Ekdal decides to not take his defeat lying down and decides to transform into this gigantic beast. This is the final fight. Ah. Doing too well of a job dodging his attacks. That one in particular is unavoidable. Almost got him. Even if I do die, I'll have some many elixirs, so I can just get right back up. One more shot. Two more shots. Okay, and time will be right when I hit continue on this final stage. And time. That's a 1:43.41. Which, if I look at it... not a record. Off by about 46 seconds. My record's a 1:43.07. But it was nearly on record.
Do you think this is it?
That was a pretty good run, give or take just a few minor things. Could have messed up. I accidentally forgot to buy a weapon, which made one boss really slow. But that is Crimson Sea.
It's over.
One of the more improved routes that I have for this game so far.
Shami!
And that was for shots fired offline. Anyway, I could call it shots misfired with how well this entire marathon's gone. And I hope you enjoyed this game. I'm sorry that I couldn't be here live to answer any questions you might have had about the game, but I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the commentary, the game and the commentary that I provided. I put a lot of work into this game and I've pushed it quite a way. I'm quite happy with the time that I've been getting in this game, so thank you very much for watching this.
But I have no regrets.
And if anyone else happens to have this game and
my friends and loved ones.
Well, play it. Try and see if you can do a run of it
So what,
myself,
my
because
life is
then I wouldn't be the
I've
only
been
person
reborn.
running this game